Now, let us understand what is attitude. Attitude is nothing else but a way of thinking or feeling about something, or for that matter, anything. So it comes from your mind. How you think about, how you feel about something or anything is what is reflection of your attitude. And it contributes to everything that you do. And now we come to understanding, I told you what is attitude. Now let us go to the why of attitude. Why you must pay attention to your attitude. So let's have a look at that. First important factor is attitude affects everything that you do. Everything. Now notice, friends, you may be having a positive attitude towards X number of aspects of your life, but you may be having negative attitude towards some other. Now, what is my concern here is that negative attitude towards some of the areas starts spilling into the positives also. That is why it's important that we start paying attention to everything that we do, because it affects everything you do. Then second important aspect here is it's a continue. This is one of my favorite quotes. How you do anything is how you do everything. This is one of my favorite quotes, because if you are demonstrating one type of behavior at one place, it is likely that in some other form similar behavior is coming up. Let me just give you an example. Let's say, I won't say you, let's say there is a person who gets late for some meeting. And that's what he demonstrates quite a number of times. Now, this habit, this attitude of getting late for that meeting may be reflecting in different areas of life in different ways. And that is why we must consider this seriously, that we must pay attention to the attitude that we are demonstrating at every single place. Then comes, it affects your results. Since it affects everything that you do, therefore, it affects your results also, personal as well as professional. Now, what I'm going to share with you, the next slide will indicate to you how your positive attitude affects personal as well as professional lives. And I've given you some pointers. It is not a comprehensive and exhaustive list, but it will give you some pointers as to how it can affect your personal as well as professional life. So this is what is called attitude dividend. So let us look at personal life. If you have the right attitude, it will lead to harmonious relations. So your attitude shows your interactions with people. And the way you demonstrate that attitude, it either leads to harmony in relations or chaos in relations. Second one is very significant. It has an impact on your health, physical health. And then it also has an effect on your emotional health. Then let's look at professional dimension. Your contribution as an individual, that goes up, because you are looking at every aspect of your work that you are doing in a very, very different way. Then, since we are team players, since we are leading teams, our team performance goes up, because everyone's, so let me put it this way, that if your attitude is positive, if your attitude is right, it rubs on people around you. The team that you're leading, it rubs on the whole team. And that's why your team performance also goes up. And now if we further expand the sequence, it goes to organizational results. They also starts going up substantially. And in your professional experience, you must have experienced this, that when one leader comes, the whole organization's vibration undergoes a change. And when another leader comes, it also undergoes a change. Sometimes goes down, sometimes goes up. Another important thing is, this is a little science that I'm talking about, RAS, Reticular Activation System. What does this mean typically is that whatever you continue to hold in your mind for sufficiently long time, and when you are holding something in your mind for sufficiently long time, it obviously means that it has gone into subconscious. That is what is called reticular activation system, and it starts attracting from the world or universe whatever you are holding in your mind. Which means here, you put in very simple words, if you are holding something negative, you start attracting those negative experiences in your life. And if you are holding something positive, you start attracting similar experiences. You may call it law of attraction. You may call it the extension of what came in the book Secret, whatever you want to call it. Or let me remind you of one of very famous dialogues of Shah Rukh Khan in Om Shanti Om. He talks about जब आप किसी चीज को शिद्दत से चाहो, आई एम सेइंग इन हिंदी, देन आई विल ट्रांसलेट दैट. जब आप किसी चीज को शिद्दत से चाहो तो पूरी कायनात वो आप तक पहुंचाने में जुट जाती है. If you really want something very deeply, the whole universe conspires to bring it to you. That is what is called RAS, Reticular Activation System. Whether you like it or not, whether you know it or not, it's always in operation. So don't be surprised by the results that you are getting in your life. Just address the RAS if you want to change the results. And this is also called human GPS. Human GPS, it helps you to navigate your life knowingly or unknowingly. Let's continue. Now, this is what I shared in my previous slide also when we talked about attitude dividend. I'm just highlighting this once again. Friends, please understand, your emotional well-being is highly dependent on your attitude. Now, let me raise another question to you all. Tell me, what is it that you are looking for in your life ultimately? I'm repeating my question, and notice the emphasis on the word that I've given. What is it that you are looking for in your life ultimately? So great responses. And if you notice, most of these responses are focusing on your feelings, your emotional state, happiness, satisfaction, peace. These are nothing else but our internal state of being. And that's what we are finally looking for in our lives. When you say success, it has to go further, and your next answer will again be, why do you want success? Because that will make you happy. Someone says committed. The moment you say committed, commitment towards what? The work that you do, and the whole sequence will continue towards ultimately reaching the word happiness, joy, fulfillment, peace, calm. These are the words that will ultimately come up in your responses. So human navigation system is ultimately looking for some feelings inside. That's what my strong belief is. And my whole work revolves around this. Whether I talk about team building, whether I talk about leadership or whatever subject, I do touch upon this important aspect of human behavior, that we are looking for, we are seeking certain feelings, and we are driven by feelings. Now let's look at this slide. This is again something very significant about understanding human behavior. It's a typical iceberg model that we are talking about, something which is visible and something which is invisible. And we know all the physical structure of an iceberg. It is 1/10 is visible and 9/10 is not visible. And we all know from the story of Titanic as to why did Titanic sink? Such a huge ship. And it happened because of the error of judgment about the iceberg that they noticed. And this is how our behavior is also driven. If you see the arrow coming from down, our behavior is ultimately driven by our internal world. And what is there in our internal world? Some of the words which are written there are values, our standards, our judgments, our motives. And not surprisingly, the word attitude has been put there in very, very big and bold words. That is why we must keep on checking. I always call it like this. It's a continuous journey that we need to undertake so that the behavior that comes out of inside us is always towards the positive. And if that positive behavior is not coming out, let us start checking in as to what is the disturbing factor there.